Hey guys, I'm going to be talking about the mix window and the edit window in Pro Tools. Um, so after you have your startup window and you pick your settings for your session, this is probably what you're going to see except for this track here. Um, so I'll get rid of that. This is what you're going to see. So I'm going to kind of show you the really basic stuff of uh, what you're going to be doing in these different windows. I'm not going to cover everything because there's a lot to be covered, but just kind of the basics and try to help you get your way around it. So when you make a track, it may or may not look like this over here and also on the timeline. So right here, there's a little drop down menu, and this is what's going to be shown at you on the timeline. So you got lots of different options here. You got bars and beats, minutes, time code, and so on and so on. There's a lot of stuff you can change here. If you want to make more room on your screen, you can take these out. If there's a little check mark, that means it's on. If I want to see time code, I can just check that, and now a time code's checked, and I can see time code right here. So if we go down a little bit, there's another drop down. It's going to be kind of the same thing, but for the individual tracks. So comments are going to be right here, and this is just, you can type whatever you want. If you want to make a note of a track, you can type that in here and it'll save it. Don't have to worry about mic preamps. Instrument, that's if you're using a MIDI keyboard or really any MIDI device. Inserts, A through E, that's going to be right here. And that's going to be where your plugins are. So if you click here, you see all the different plugins you can put on. And right under that, there's inserts F through J. That's just additional 5 you can use. You can use up to 10 inserts on one track in Pro Tools. Then you got your sends over here. And that's just going to be if you want to send some kind of signal out to pretty much anything you want. So you have physical outs here, and then you have buses here. And then you have sends F through J, which is like the same kind of idea with the plugins, and do another set of 5 if you that. Okay, so here's your I/O, and that's going to be over here. This is going to be where your ins are and your outs are. Ins are always on top of the outs. And then also you have your volume and your pan. Now let me say this first. Anything you can do in the next window I'll show you, you can do in here. You really don't need mix window. Want to use it, go for it. But I'm just letting you know anything you can do in the mix window, you can do in here. So you got your volume, your pan, and if you hold down the control button if you're on a Windows, and I believe command if you're on a Mac, you can take a look at the peak level. You can also take a look at how much delay compensation is going on that track, and then you can switch it back to volume. You hold your mouse down on it, you have a little fader there. And if you want to bring it back to 0 or unity, hold down the Alt key if you're on Windows, and you can hold down the Option key if you're on a Mac. Just click it, and it'll bring it right back to 0. Okay. Over here, we have kind of different modes to work with. I'm just going to be talking about the grid and the slip. So grid is going to be locking stuff on the grid. So let me just make a section there. So when I move this, it's always going to be locked on the grid. And when I switch to slip, I can move it freely. Now you may have noticed that there's a relative grid. So let me show you that. Let me zoom in, and we're on slip mode right now, and I'm going to put it right in the middle between 2 grid points. Then I'm going to switch it to relative grid. Now when I move it over, it's still locked, you can see right there, but it's going to be in the same relative region. So that's called relative grid. Keep in mind, those two modes you may want to switch. You can also hold down the control key and the command key while you're in grid mode. You can see I'm in grid mode right now, and I'm holding down the control key, and I can move it freely. Over here, you have your smart tool, and the way the smart tool works is you got 3 tools, but they're all selected at once. You can, if you want, individually select them, and if you hit the little button right above them, it selects all of them. The way it works is if your mouse is over the halfway point on your clip, it's going to be the selector tool. Now, as soon as I move it under the halfway point, it's going to be the grabber tool. And then you got the trim tool on the sides. So that's kind of how the smart tool works. So that way you don't have to individually select them. Then you got your time, however you want it, bars, beats, time code, whatever. You want to change your grid, you can do that right here. And then you got your transport right here. Also, if you hit Command 1 or Control 1 on the numpad, it brings up transport in a window, which has a little bit more stuff on it. I keep my system usage up here. If you're curious, you're probably going to see this in a lot of my videos. I just like to monitor that. If you're curious how I get that up there, it's in window, and right there's system usage. So I think this is pretty much the basics for the edit window. There's a lot more. I'm not saying this is all of it, but there's a lot more. But I hope this is kind of showing you the really basics and to help you kind of get your way around it. I'll be making more videos of more in-depth stuff on this window. Okay, so let's get to the mix window. So if you're on Windows, you can hit Control equal. If you're on a Mac, you can hit Command equal, and that's going to bring you to this window. Now, depending on how many tracks you have, you may see more in this. So let me just make some more for you, just so it looks a little more full. So this is what the mix window looks like. There's a lot of the same stuff, and remember I said anything you can do in the edit window, or anything in the mix window, you can do in the edit window. But it's kind of just, it looks different. So, and I'll kind of show you that, and you'll probably notice it as I explain it here. So, you got your inserts, or your plugins, you got your sends, or your sends to send signal wherever you want, you got your ins and outs, and you got your volume, and you got solo and mute, which are also in the edit window. You got your panning, you got your automation here. So just like in the edit window, we can pick what we want to see. Down here in the bottom left where my mouse is, there's a little drop down menu, and it looks exactly the same as the drop down menu in the edit window. And you can pick what you want to see, and it's pretty self-explanatory. A lot of this stuff is the same as the other window. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions about this, let me know. I'd be happy to help you out. If you have any requests for any other videos, let me know. Be happy to do them. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.